Yeah. All right. In today's current events, current events is always an interesting topic. Let's see what the people are saying, bro.
More celebrities who took out PPP loans during the pandemic. Diddy, Sean Combs, the loan amount, $1.9 million
Mm.
for 134 jobs he needed to provide. Come on, things are tough. Oh, his loan was forgiven. Next one, Paul Pelosi. Gotta love Paul. You know, the guy that was hit with the hammer with that weirdo that came in his house in San Francisco. Oh, his wife is Nancy. Her. So he's worth $120 million. Nice gentleman. His loan amount was 1.7 million. Oh, let me add that it was forgiven. Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing I want you to know is to note that Pelosi, it was noted on the account that Mr. Pelosi was not involved in the loan application. Just let's make a note of that. Okay. Oh, if you don't know who Paul Pelosi is, Nancy, his wife, you know, she was in Congress. She did a whole bunch of like she had, I like to say she's just very lucky. Like
She got
before,
rich. Yeah.
she was smart enough to sell like thousands of shares of Visa before DOJ came and slammed him with an antitrust lawsuit. Talk about luck.
So, also other financial news: Biden administration contacted Apple and Google, told them to remove TikTok from the Apple Store on January 19th. So we do know that this is a current thing that is going on. The TikTok ban.
Representative Michael McCall. And you represent liberals, get your popcorn out. I'm about to shit on a Republican. This is Representative Michael McCall. And you may not know him, but if you're on this app, you should, because he wrote the bill to ban TikTok. But he's also done some other really interesting shit recently. So here's Mike's recent questionable activity. On March 3rd, he authored the TikTok ban bill. Then on March 22nd, he invested $150,000 in Meta. On the 26th, he invested another $150,000, and on the 28th, he invested another $150,000. So about 3 weeks after writing the TikTok ban bill, this man invested $450,000 in TikTok's competitor. Oh, and then what did he do once he saw his TikTok ban was going to be included with all the Ukraine funding? Well, on April 1st, he invested.
So is Mark Zuckerberg really the reason why TikTok is being banned from the United States, and not the fact that it may be a national security issue? And it is public information that Meta actually works with law enforcement. You can go onto their website and see that. So yeah, let's think on that.
Invested $350,000 more in Meta, followed by the 5th, where he invested that again. And then about a week later, of course, he voted yes on the bill he wrote. So within the span of 40 days, this dude wrote the TikTok ban bill, proceeded to invest $450,000 in the competitor, and then invested another $700,000, taking his total investment in Meta to $1.15 million. And then he voted yes. Now, obviously, the word most people are using here is suspicious, but the word we should be using is criminal. This man wrote the fucking bill to ban TikTok, proceeded to invest more than $1 million in its competitor, whose stock will skyrocket if TikTok actually gets banned, and then voted on the bill to ban it. Are you paying attention yet?
So you all heard. So pay attention to the direction. And then this is also a question that I have been consistently going over in my head. What is going to be the next booming app? Because I don't see it. I don't see it really being another new app outside of fan base. There are European people saying that they're looking for alternatives to apps and they're looking at fan base. So I see, for American capitalism, I see it to be beneficial for TikTok to leave. And to be honest, TikTok is not my favorite platform. Like it's easy for me to find things over there sometimes, but I also know I access more of the internet than the average individual. So I don't necessarily have to partake in the social media app in order to get the information that I be looking for. Now, with that being said, I also use X as one of my damn main news sources. So when you think about what it is to be an American, I got military parents, you know, I support this country, I love this country. And if this is a foreign business, we do have to watch how we source out our intellectual property, who we're sourcing our data to. And we need to be way more mindful of how we contract ourselves with foreign nations, including how we even contract ourselves with our own country and how you're sourcing your data out. And we're gonna get into that data security stuff a little bit later for sure. What we working with right here? It's Auntie.
There was a flurry of donations made in your name. About 20 donations.
I don't think so.
Have you ever donated?
So real quick, just so y'all can get a little like still current events. These are things that are happening right now. So we sticking with the times. So right, it says Kamala Harris and the Democrats. I can't really blame this on Shorty. It's not like she was the one who was doing it, but her team possibly, allegedly, and the Democrats launched $5 million in taxpayer money through the Act Blue accounts owned by people who are not aware their names are being used for fake donations. Would that be considered money laundering? I kind of feel like that's like washing money, and that's fraudulent.
Donated to Act Blue?
Yeah.
Okay. These donations made, do they look familiar to you at all?
Not necessarily.
We're with Elder Watch. We're kind of following up with people that are over 65 years old, that people are using their name and potential address to just make micro donations.
Seeing that, like, we're like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. That's kind of, people have been donating like 40-cent donations in your name. That's kind of why we're like, what's going on here?
That's odd. I have never.
I can't imagine, even though I make small donations,
For sure.
recently it's been, pretty difficult because finances are not very good.
So we go with the bigger donations, which are probably yours. You see like 500 there, 250, 100.
Those probably aren't mine. That's got to be in somebody else's name because I really haven't given that many.
What do you think is like the biggest number you would have given? Like,
Biggest number usually runs around $75.
so nothing like 500, 200, none of that?
No.
Oh gosh, okay.
I did not make a flurry of,
One would remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see there's a bunch of $100 donations in your name with this address and everything.
Oh, well, those are good.
Jeez Louise.
Would you like to get a refund from those donations?
I would say so. I recently changed my credit card, and I would recognize it if it was like, oh my God.
You would see those popping up, and it would
Oh,
be.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I would.
Do they cut the people in check for this?
I can't. No, there's no way I can afford that.
Right.
That's crazy. That's what's up, though. That's dope that they cut them a check. But yeah, I got more on that. Just the election wave and stuff, so that's more of our political and finance current event segment. We got way more. So I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. So it's conspiracy theory time. So let's learn a little bit about Project Bluebeam for those of you who are not aware of it.
On May 17th, 2024, the Vatican will release a detailed document providing guidance on how to discern supernatural phenomena, apparitions, appearances, or communication with divine beings, such as saints, angels, or Christ himself. The last time the Vatican released guidance on apparitions was in 1978 under Pope Paul VI. That document, Norms Regarding the Manner of Proceedings in the Discernment of Presumed Apparitions or Revelations, was released due to the increased influence of mass media. The miracle of Fatima in 1917 is perhaps the most well-documented apparition in the modern day. After an alleged series of appearances by the Virgin Mary to several peasant children that promised a public miracle, tens of thousands of people in Fatima claimed to witness the sun move erratically across the sky and produce radiant colors for several minutes. Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory that claims that NASA and other government agencies are attempting to implement a New Age religion with the Antichrist at its head and start a new world order via a technologically simulated second coming. This theory was put forth by a man named Serge Monast, a Canadian journalist who published the theory in 1994. According to Monast, Project Bluebeam would involve several steps. The first step would allegedly involve faking discoveries that would discredit all fundamental religious doctrines. Then three-dimensional optical holograms and sounds would be projected into the sky, simulating figures important to various cultures and religions, which would merge into one after explanations of their individual mistakes. Telepathic electronic means would be used to communicate with each individual on Earth, convincing them that their God is speaking to them directly. The final step would supposedly use electronic means to create the illusion of an alien invasion, or the perception of the rapture and return of Jesus, to manipulate believers into accepting the new religion. Monast claimed that his work exposing Project Bluebeam had made him a target for harassment by government authorities, which he believed was part of a campaign to silence him. According to reports and his own accounts, Monast and another journalist were repeatedly arrested and had their children taken away by authorities, ostensibly due to their involvement in publicizing conspiracy theories, which the government found disruptive or threatening.
What happened to the First Amendment?
Monast attributed his legal and personal troubles to his stance against what he believed to be a global conspiracy. He ultimately died of a heart attack in 1996, which some claim was induced or somehow facilitated by government agents as a way to permanently silence him.
Okay, so, yeah. All right, yeah. So that's what Project Bluebeam is. Yeah, like I said, what the fuck happened to the First Amendment, bro? You have to be thankful for the way our society has developed and how things have just become common to an extent to where you're not getting treated like Edward Snowden, respectfully, who he was a whistleblower, but he came out and said certain things that we know to be true, who also would have been looked at as a conspiracy theorist if he did not come with any evidence. So, like, if you have a strong enough belief about something, like even the drone situation, fam, which we're about to get into, if you start putting strings together, it's like at least you have people who can agree with you in a society, get your information fast enough to where if anything did happen, like at least they'll be able to point a finger at somebody. Like you could literally, we've seen it. Like people have made videos like if anything happened to me, is because this and this or this person or these entities did it. And that's a privilege because that's a lot of countries that don't even allow that. Freedom of speech ain't something that's allowed everywhere. And like you would think that it was something that was here even then in 1996, early 90s. It was, but you know, you gotta be thankful for the internet. It's like a blessing and a curse at the same time. That is nuts. So
by 40 state representatives and state legislators, state senators from around the United States. And I'm going to read this to you. And this is going to be a seminal moment.
I just need y'all gotta follow with me. I'm piecing it together. Like you gotta see what I'm doing. Just walk with me. I got you.
Memo for record. Letter from state legislators to the American people. Reference the 2020 presidential election. To the citizens of the United States of America. We, the undersigned state legislators of the United States, are vested with the plenary power by our U.S. Constitution, Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2, to oversee the election of the President of the United States. It has come to our attention from an audit of 2.1 million ballots in the state of Arizona, complemented by an in-depth canvass of votes in Arizona.
A forensic
as well
audit.
as through multiple different data reviews of voting by independent experts, that our representative republic suffered a corrupted 2020 election.
Oh, we've been trying to tell you.
So
in addition to our
we just finished the 2020 electoral votes going today. We're still wrapping up the 2024 election. It took for the administration to wrap up for us to get this information, knowing that it did not take 4 years for you to tell them that you cheated the people out of the results for the last 4 years. Now, granted, timing and also the way the White House has aligned, I, financially thinking, believe this is much better in this time frame with everything, with the White House being stacked this way versus what it would have been if he had won in the last 4 years. But let's continue.
Arizona, sworn affidavits have accumulated from many states detailing rampant corruption and mismanagement in the election process. Fraud and inaccuracies have already been shown through multiple audits and canvasses in multiple states, as well as through lawsuits challenging the validity of election results in several counties in multiple states. We have come to the conclusion that all 50 states need to be forensically audited.
Boom! Overturn that shit!
Should be scrubbed with a canvas of the voters to ensure future.
Now, when maybe all of you owe Donald Trump an apology for him saying that the election was rigged, because Arizona and other states have actually agreed with him, saying that there was fraud and all type of voter misconduct. That was my boy. Are y'all tired of this orange man being right? Respectfully, I rock with Donnie. Everybody know that, but you're like, bro, look at him. He's very orange. He's very orange right now. Oh shit! All right, let's get to the clip, bro. I'm about to say it's not that long. Well, Uncle Don gotta say.
Very serious discussions about certain things, whether it's pesticides. Europe doesn't use pesticides, and yet they have a better mortality rate than we do. They don't use pesticides. In fact, they use it as an excuse not to take our farm product. We spend billions and billions of dollars on pesticides, and something bad's happening.
Billions and billions.
Again, you take a look at autism today versus 20, 25 years ago. It's like not even believable. So we're going to have reports. No, nothing's going to happen very quickly. I think you're going to find, very serious discussions about.
I don't think y'all heard that one thing he said about autism. He made a direct correlation between autism and pesticides here in the United States. And like I said, just walk with me, because you see how I'm piecing it together. We had the Kamala stuff and how they was doing the donation fraud, and then we have evidence that same administration that she's a part of now, they did fraudulent things throughout the 2024. And then you have this man come on stage and say things like, yeah, I want to get rid of pesticides because we have a high mortality rate. Other countries won't accept our food because we put things on our food that the rest of the world doesn't care for. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having somebody who has these type of views that are going to actually make us live longer? Also, allow us to have more commerce because we'll be able to do business with countries now because we stop using this stuff, and we'll actually save money because we won't have to put these things on our produce. I don't see the issue. I'm just speaking out loud. There's no favoritism. Now, we still in current events and conspiracy stuff right now, right? We just piecing it all together. Let's see